Wow, so exciting.
So, good evening, everyone. This
Thank
is the
surviving or
creating.
creating. What do we choose? Are we just surviving or creating something cool?
Right. So, yeah. So, what does it mean, surviving or creating? We always have a point of view that, many people has this point of view that
No, we don't have that one.
we never
Only
have
the
done.
other people have that. Yeah.
We have never done such thing before, ever. Of course, we're born like totally differently, so it never happened to us. Or at least now we try to prove it. It never happened to us.
Yeah, we deny everything.
Total denial.
Yeah.
That's one of the best access tools. Total denial. So regarding surviving, so how many areas of your life are you just surviving instead of thriving, instead of creating, instead of being the infinite being that you truly be? And everything that brings up, all the memories, all the situations that you judge as a failure, will you now destroy and uncreate? Right and wrong, good and bad, put and poke, nine shirts, boys and beyonds. So what does it mean surviving? What does it mean for you? Like, we may think that, if you have a certain amount of salary or income per month, and that can be enough for so many things. And if we would like to have something else, then either we go to the bank or increase the credit card limit, or we ask parents or friends for money, or we start to save for long years or months, and then try to figure it out from that budget. How can we create what we wanted to create? But actually, is that really creation, or just surviving based on the resources that we have at that very moment? Is that really creation? So all the different areas of your life where you are not creating but maintaining, where you are not creating but surviving, and everywhere where you judge yourself for that, where you destroy and uncreate, right and wrong, good and bad, put and poke, nine shirts, boys and beyonds. So, for example, how many times have you seen that your parents told you that this is how much is the budget, and we have to fit everything into this budget? And then, of course, in each and every month, something happened, something that went beyond, that was totally unexpected, and that reduced their sources that was available for that month. So just imagine that, the car was break down at the side of the road, or the fridge just break down, or something happened with the house that had to be renovated or fixed quickly.
Or your husband,
had to be renovated or fixed quickly.
Yeah.
or he was drinking too much, more than expected. And the expected or pre-calculated budget for that month or for that period has gone. And then, you had the only solution, the only tool was, okay, cut back all the expenses instead of starting to create. So that's survival mode immediately. So how many times did you or your family had survival mode, or how many times you heard that sorry, these are very, very serious periods, like economical downturn? Like, how many times did your boss tell you at your workplace that, sorry, we cannot give you a pay rise because this is not the period?
And you should better be grateful you can still work here. So, thank you.
So what happened? You just immediately turned on the survival mode. Okay, what happens in survival mode? You try to please everyone. You try to be the best of you in a way of pleasing everyone, the nicest, the kindest. And of course, on the way to there, you lose yourself. You lose being yourself. So everywhere and all the times this was triggered in you, or you turned on the surviving mode, will you now destroy and uncreate? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay, but instead of surviving, what else can we do? What else can we maybe create? So everywhere where where the only function you have is maintaining or surviving, and you have no other tools, or you never considered other tools, or everyone told you that there is nothing else possible, will you now destroy and uncreate for all eternity? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So really, if you could choose anything, what would it be? But of course, why would you choose anything when you don't have the resources for that, when you don't have the capacity to choose that, when there is nothing you can do to create that, because you just don't have the tools? Actually, when did you buy into that you have no tools? So all the lifetimes and all the times and all the situations you made yourself less than who you be, every time when you cut back the wings of the infinite being that you truly be, all the times when you identified yourself as the finite being or a finite pile of shit, and everything that brings up will now destroy and uncreate and return back to the sender. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Cool. So really, so what is creation and actually actualization? Where actualization are the physical steps that are required to bring it into fruition, to make it show up in this reality, in this physical reality.
Can we do that?
No. You have to have the resources before you would start anything. Like, if you want to be a manager, you have to make a college degree of management, and after that you are allowed to manage your own tiny shop where, it's a tiny shop.
That's okay. Tiny shop is okay.
Maybe you're not allowed to start your own soap making business without a college degree, because you have to learn first. Once you have the skills, the talent for being a manager of your own, then maybe you can do it, right? But what if it doesn't work like that? What if all the tools, all the skills show up when you choose? You don't have to have the skills, you don't have to have the resources. And of course, it sounds very funny, like, how could you buy a car if you don't have the money up front? But what if you can choose anything, like any kind of car, even if you don't have that level of income or don't have that amount of money, but you can choose, and from that moment start to turn on creation mode instead of survival mode. So instead of looking into that, okay, how to cut back the expenses in order to save that much money so you can buy what you desire, so what if instead of this, you ask the question, okay, first, what can I add to my life that would create more, that would contribute to my life and to my creation, that would be so generative to my life that, it's really exciting for me to wake up just waiting for the next day. And, be in the question, like, what is the car that I desire to have? What would make me have much more or way more fun?
Maybe a red Ferrari.
Oh, red Ferrari, yes. Why not?
Oh,
or a Maserati.
Maserati, yeah.
Definitely.
Flavia Maserati.
So there is the other part of, okay, you can choose the car and you don't have the money, but what do you do then? And here we start to be in question, okay, what's required for this to show up with total ease? So this is when you are not using or not trying to cut back your expenses, or not trying to use your savings, or trying to, check whether you have the resources or not, but you follow the energy of your choice. You start to follow your questions, follow what you truly desire, what would be fun for you. Just imagine that if you would only buy and create things in your life that is fully exciting and joyful and fun for you. Imagine that if you would buy all the furniture in your house that is truly joyful and exciting, and always you would create it, like out-create yourself and be in question, what's required for this to show up? What can I add to my life? Or what income streams can I add to my life to create this? Because once you start to ask the questions, you start to have the tools for that. You start to have the information of what's required for that. But if you don't choose and if you don't ask the question, nothing will show up. So then comes the second scenario of survival, cutting back expenses and start saving very hard way. And what do you choose? And imagine that all the furniture in your home, all your clothes, all the jewelry, everything in your life, even the holiday travels, even the work that you do would be something that's truly exciting and generative to your body and your being, and you do it joyfully day after day. So what would your life be like if all the activities and all the things you have in your life would come from that space of the need to outcreate yourself? And definitely it's not the space where you are comfortable, where you sit in that warm shit.
Yeah, not in the warm shit.
But it's the place where you need to be in question 24/7, day and night, about what's required for this, how can I outcreate myself and create something greater, what I truly desire. So imagine that you go home and you look around and all the furniture is like IKEA or something like that, and you just it's just boring, it's just disgusting, it's just nothing special. And instead of that, you see something amazing, Italian or French or whatever, something beautiful, leather or beautiful wooden or oak or something really, really amazing.
Orgasmic
to your body and your being. And you open your wardrobe and all your dresses are just amazing, have that energy of excitement.
So are you willing to have orgasmic all day long with all your clothes, with all your furnitures? Oh my gosh.
And if you go to a restaurant, you don't check the prices, but you check, okay, which one would be orgasmic and really exciting
more
for
orgasmic.
My body.
Wow, guys.
So what would you
get
eat?
Any better than this?
So what would you eat and drink? Where would you go and travel? Where would you have your holiday? Who would be your partner? What would you do with your body? Like what clothes and what exercises would you do on a daily basis? What activities would you do on a daily basis if that was about the joy, the excitement that you can have? And what kind of parties you would create and make or meet and attend if you were functioning from this space? And actually, are you allowed to function from this space? Are you allowed to have fun? And don't worry,
orgasmic living.
It doesn't depend on anyone. It only depends on you, because you're the only one who can allow yourself. But will you allow yourself? And of course, you can say, yeah, I allow myself, but my past, but my salary, but my education.
So in this case, we can ask, who am I without my stories? Who am I without my past? Yeah, no excuse.
No past, no pasta.
No passport.
So what would it take to really have fun, to really create the life you desire, no matter what the resources you had, no matter what happened to you in the past, no matter what people think who you are? Because that's another thing, that people around you will tell you that, what do you think who you are? What do you think what you can create? You don't have the money, you don't have the knowledge, you have never done this before, so you don't have the experience. So please give up and try to be normal, try to be realistic.
Fit in the box, like normal people.
Just buy the cheapest studio, the smallest flat, that's enough for your cat, but not for you.
And actually, why do you want more? Why don't is enough what you have got now?
It's just such a shame that you want more. It's so capitalistic, it's so terrible.
And selfish.
Yeah, because when you want more, that will destroy the whole world, because it's more rubbish in the world. So just be minimalistic, go to the jungle, go to the forest, live with the animals, with the snakes, with the tigers. You can be the second Tarzan, the third Tarzan, the fourth Tarzan. You can be Jane and Tarzan together. It's amazing life. And yes, some people will choose it because it creates more for them. But if we all choose it, what's the future we create? That's maybe the planet of apes. Amazing.
So be in a survival position. That's the best.
Of course. And everyone can choose what creates more. And you can always change what you choose. Like you can choose something else. You are allowed to choose something else when you function from question, like what creates more for me? Because one day you can choose, okay, I would like to have this beautiful holiday, and you don't have to have that kind of holiday each and every year, the same place. You can choose something else. Maybe next time you don't go to that luxury hotel, but you go to a small island, or to go to a place that is in the middle of the forest, or wherever you want to go. And it's entirely up to you. What do you choose? What creates more for you? But what if you could always choose what creates more for you instead of giving up what you desire? So here's the big question. Are you willing to outcreate yourself? Are you willing to create and actualize the life, all areas of your life that you truly desire?
No matter what, 24/7.
In your relationship, about your body, about your business, about your whole lifestyle? Are you willing to be in that? Are you willing to be part of your life? Are you willing to be present in your life? Are you willing to be present with all areas of your life and be in the flow of energy, like following what's required, following where the energy goes of your choice? Like some people says, okay, money doesn't make you happy, but the lack of money will not make you happy as well.
That's for sure.
And it's not just the money. Of course, don't create just for the money, but it's the whole lifestyle. Like if you were asking money for a new car or for another house, it's always about what that car or what that house can contribute to your life, what joy it can add to your life. What do you choose? And then when you create from the space of that joy, money will come. When you create from the space of that excitement, the money and all the other resources and all the other information required for that will show up. So what do you choose? And actually, it's not selfish. It's never selfish if you choose for yourself. Because when you choose something that creates greater for you, that expands your reality, imagine that it will expand other people's reality around you. So you contribute to other people to stop maintaining and start to be in question and starts to create their own life. Imagine that, what contribution it can be when people around you start to create their life just as you create your life. What is the future that we can create if we all start to create our life instead of giving up, instead of going into the victim of our past, instead of being like being afraid of the failure? Instead of being afraid of failure, we can always ask questions like, is it a contribution? Or who does this belong to, this point of view, or this fear of failure? Or what did I buy into? And of course, you can again say that, oh, I'm afraid of things because my experience shows me that many times things doesn't show up the way I desired. So the other question is that, did you ask questions? You can always go back to a previous moment, a previous situation, and ask a question whether, okay, what went wrong? What was the thing I was not aware of? Did I give up far before the end? Did I give up
before I started to create?
Yeah. And when you start to ask questions about these situations that you judged as failure, you start to become aware of that you already gave up. It wasn't your choice at all. You were maintaining something. You were functioning not from question, but from other people's points of view and judgments and expectations and conclusions. So it was already set up, the whole situation, to fail. So are you willing to function from question? And what is the magic that you are, if you are willing to be the magic, if you are willing to be present with your life and be honest to yourself, like being that vulnerable with yourself about what you truly desire to have. Because a lot of people are afraid to be honest with themselves because, oh, we have to work for world peace. We have to work for something really huge, really amazing that includes everyone. Why do you judge yourself as not part of everyone? And where did you buy into if you choose for yourself that will not include others? So are you willing to be and function from the energy, space, and consciousness of the infinite being that you truly be 24/7?
No matter what.
Right and wrong, good and bad, podem, pokol, night shirts, boys and beyonds. And just again, what life can you create, and what would your life be like if you were willing to function from question and creating everything that you desire? Not giving up, not stopping your creation, and not setting up yourself for failure.
And for the surviving position.
Yeah, so everywhere where you are not choosing what works for you, but you choose something that's smaller or much less, because you think, oh, okay, if I choose less, at least I can achieve that. But I can tell you right now something. If you set up for less, you will not achieve that. You will achieve even less than that.
Because you are not willing to do anything. It's too small.
You will always underachieve your targets, underachieve what you desire. But what if you would just try once? Of course, try, from Star Wars, Yoda Master said that never try, do or don't do, but never try, because it will not do anything. So what if you would look into this like, okay, what's the energy if you choose something that you truly desire, if you choose that to create? What's the energy that brings up, that comes to the surface? And what's the energy if you choose something instead of this that you think is more realistic for you? And just see these two energies, because this will be the energy, this will be the fuel for your creation. There is a huge difference between these two. It's really a huge difference. That's why people will not just not survive, but fail in this survival mode. And this is why people who are dreaming big, they even outcreate their dreams. Because the fuel is totally different that drives them. So what else is possible beyond this reality? What else is possible if you truly choose that you desire? And do you deserve what you desire? Are you allowed to choose? And what would be the neighbor? What would the neighbors tell if you choose something great? And even if you achieve that, if you achieve to have that new Lamborghini or Ferrari, when before that you had a 25 years old Ford Orion, like what contribution it can be to the creation in the neighborhood? I mean, of course, some of them would
judge you, of course.
Judge you and call the tax agent to check what have you done or you haven't done. How did you achieve that? It's all right. But really, what can you create? And are you willing to have no fear and no judgment about all the people's points of view? So everywhere where you stop your creation because of the fear of judgment, the fear of being punished for that, will you now destroy and uncreate? And every time when you were punished, when you outcreated yourself or you created something truly amazing, so you rather stopped your creation. Obviously, they punish you because they were so jealous of your creation. So they punish you until you stopped creating. So therefore, you were not there anymore in front of their eyes. They didn't see you any longer that, wow, this person can create everything and we are nothing. So rather, they punished you and destroyed you. So they can't see you any longer. You are not in front of their eyes.
And everything that brings up, would you destroy and uncreate? Right and wrong, good and bad, podem pokol, and short sports and beyond.
So, do you have any questions?
You can type it in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself.
I have some.
Yes.
Can you see me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
But it's, okay.
We can't see because the Lamborghini that you are sitting in, it doesn't allow us to look inside.
Oh, mi stanno dicendo che non possono vedermi perché la Lamborghini su cui sono seduta non permette loro di vedermi. It's amazing. So sorry. While I'm driving, there is an Italian, it's not really a question, but so Ivana is saying, oh my gosh, we really need to have a class of 3 days just on questions. Yeah. And I totally agree with that. So Ivana diceva, caspita, bisogna fare una classe di 3 giorni solo sulle domande, e sono d'accordo. The other thing is, the problem is not really to have a creative idea, but the fear of doing a wrong investment and to lose money. I will translate, I will mute myself. Okay. I will say yes as I finish. Georgia. I made it.
Thank you.
So, yes, I mean, how many times we had that situation to create something, but that required a certain amount of investment, but we didn't want to invest because that was all our money, or that was a big portion of our savings, you know, that you were saving for many months or years. On the way, you were cutting back all your expenses, so it is very precious, that amount of money that you saved. And by the way, your partner or the family would judge you to death if you spend that money on something that is a failure. But at the same time, what if we were functioning from question? Because how much of the fear is like, you know, a distractor implant? What it does, it just stops us from creating, stops us from actualizing what we truly desire, what we know it's possible. But if you don't ask questions and you just follow the friends and other people's points of view or great recommendations and advices, then we can easily fall into a trap of unconsciousness and anti-consciousness.
And you start to create from their reality, not what works for you. Yeah.
Because everyone else has their own reality, just as we have our own reality, because we create our reality and they created their reality. So their advice, the source of their advice is their reality. But it doesn't mean that will work for you. So you can ask so many questions about, like, to have clarity about a decision. And then, of course, even if you choose something, because the energy is like, let's say it's a big yes for that, you need to stay present with that question, because the energy can change. And if you are not present, things can change very quickly. And things doesn't show up.
Yeah, not that direction what you really
would like to expect.
Yeah.
But that's true for all types of creation. The need to be present and know what's happening, like having the information and following the energy of your creation. If you're not present, it's like, you know, being present, it's something like you are like a private inspector, and you are, you know, following all the clues, all the signs until you catch what you're looking for. But if you just lost the track, then unfortunately, what happens then, it's a failure. Like the creation goes the wrong way down, and then things will not show up the way you expected, because you're not following the energy any longer, but you follow your points of view, your judgment, your expectations, your points of view. Yes, thank you so much for the question, Flavia. Thank you.
And there's a question on the French side.
Yes.
It's what would be the question for the money for the money and the infinity. And yeah, there's just that question. Someone asked for something else, but
yeah,
for creating infinite amount of money, sort of. Okay.
Someone, yes, infinite money, yeah.
So yes, it's not just question. It's not just asking a question, but being in the question. There is a huge difference between doing it like a monotone repeating the same sentence when it's not even a question, but it's a statement. I choose to
have the money. Can I have the money now, please? There is no energy in this question.
So one part of it, what is the source of that question? What is the space that we are functioning from when we ask the question? And also, it's not just question, but you ask the question to have more awareness. Like, and when you have the awareness, then you go further. But there is also that part of your capacity of receiving. Like, what do you allow yourself to receive that much? Or what is your point of view about how much you can receive or how much you should receive? And everything that brings up with destroy and uncreate. Right and wrong, good and bad, put and poke, naturals, boys and beyonds. So yes, asking a question, and then yes, choosing, and then yes, following the energy. So staying present.
Yeah, what requires in order to have that?
Yes.
Mi kellene ahhoz, hogy ezzel rendelkezzek, hogy ez felbukkanjon?
Oops, the Hungarian one. Cool. Come on, translators.
So cool. Yes, so the question can be...
there is a question from the Hungarian side. Okay.
What's required for that to show up? Or we just unmute Andrea now.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Hi.
Hello, yeah, sorry.
Hi.
Yeah.
Sziasztok.
Yeah.
Hi. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Or me?
Yes.
Hi. Sorry. I checked the questions. I think we have more questions.
Okay.
There is, I have a house which is in a very bad state. It's really, really dirty and worn out. And because of this house, I moved to the countryside. Okay, and what question can I ask? That's the question. From Marta.
So one of the thing is about, so one of the main problem with many things that we have a fixed point of view, we have an expectation, and we are not willing to go into question when we have that expectation or point of view. So we are not really functioning from question, but our question, like we build an expectation or already into the question. And that can be in the question like verbally, or that can be in the question as an energy behind it, spoken or unspoken. So for example, like, if you're not willing to lose that property, what can you do to have all the money, or what can you do? And so you need to start a conversation with the property. And also you need to be clear on what would you like to have. What is it that you are desiring to have? And also what's happening with the property, like energetically, what's going on? Like, is it a contribution to you? Is it a contribution to keep it, or is it a contribution to sell it? If you sell it, then what's the price that you can sell it or you should sell it? So you can ask so many questions if you are willing to be vulnerable with yourself, if you are willing to be present with your fears, with your expectations, and with your judgments. Yeah, that's one of a very key thing, the willingness to be present with your own fears and judgments, because these are the things that doesn't allow us to have clarity in a topic, in an area of our life. Well, thank you for the question.
We've got a question here.
Okay, yes.
Ask, yes. So the question from Svetlana. She's not excited to live this life, and she doesn't know what she could add to her life. And if she starts to desire something, so this can pass very quick. And so she's empty, and what she can do with this state of herself, because she feels that she's empty and she doesn't, she's not excited about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Just one more thing about excitement, because maybe it's not clear for people what's the basis, what's the source of excitement, or how does it work, what is it? Excitement is sort of like, it's very, very closely connected to expansion. So what is the choice in my life that creates that level of expansion that I desire to have, that I know is possible? You know, so sometimes with excitement, like we have an expectation, it has to be something huge, it has to be something that everyone else would accept, or everyone else would look at, wow, that's really a great choice. But what if it has nothing to do with it, but it has much more to do with what creates the greatest, or what opens the greatest space or the greatest expansion for you personally? Okay. And what else is possible if you start to look into this from this space, from this approach? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. Is there another question?
Yes, we've got.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Lots of questions. Yes?
Evgenia, go.
Okay. I've got a question, Katya, please start. Svetlana, do you have a question? No, she's on mute. Давай тогда ты, да.
Да, тогда у меня будет вопрос. Смотрите, мы много говорим про это пространство, расширение. В последнее время нахожусь тотально вот в этом расширенном состоянии. И вот из этого пространства не включает материальные блага. То есть я не могу сделать фокус там на машинах, на домах, на каких-то достигательствах. Там просто такое пространство, и ты там есть, и я не включаюсь на какие-то вот жизненные задачи.
Yes.
И у меня вопрос, что я там могу сделать, что там могу создать.
So very quick, Katya currently is a big space, and it's a wonderful space, but this space is so calm, and this space doesn't create money for her, and she doesn't have any desire to create money in this space. But her question is following: what she can do with this big space and wonderful space, what she create with this, and how she can create with this space.
Mm-hmm. Cool question. That's a really cool question.
And let us know if you find out.
Just joking.
All right. So what is that you are not willing to acknowledge about this space and about this state, that if you were willing to acknowledge, it would change everything with total ease? Like, how much of that, like, yes, what is it that you can't see? What is it that you haven't yet recognized about this space? And, you know, everything is the opposite of what it appears to be. So what's really there that you haven't yet acknowledged, that if you were acknowledging, it would change everything with total ease?
And when did you buy into, you know, being in a space and creating or creating money? It's totally different things. What if not? And everything that brings up, will you destroy and uncreate? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and poco, and shorts, boys and beyonds. So when did you separate yourself from creation, from the space, and from yourself?
And everything that you made significant about money, and everything that you made significant about this big space, will you destroy and uncreate?
Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and poco, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
Right. Thank you. So Flavia, you had a question? The last question?
Andrea had as well.
Oh.
Yes, I have, okay, I will, the last question, I will go with something that Italian people have said a lot of things, all interesting. And there is a thing that is from the question that we had before. And the thing is that if the energy shifts and changes while creating, during the creation, that makes for me the things really more difficult. This is what she is saying.
Mm-hmm.
I will translate.
Okay.
Rispetto a I'm ready.
Cool, thank you. She is quick.
Oh, yes. Yes, really cool question, because this is the main thing why you really need to be present with the energy of your creation, because everything is in constant change. Things are just changing and changing and changing. And if you're not present with that, as I mentioned before, then you are not following the energy. You follow points of view, judgments, expectations, conclusions. So where did you buy into? That once you choose something, everything will be the same? Or where did you buy into that you can set things and they will stay the same? And where did you make wrong change? So everywhere where you are afraid of change and you judge yourself that if something changes, then it reaches you in a space where you are, where that change is unexpected and you don't have the tools, you don't know what to do with it, and then the time will be not enough to change things accordingly, and everything that brings up will destroy and uncreate. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and poco, and shorts, boys and beyonds. So what if you are an infinite being and you can create and you can follow the energy, and there is nothing you should be afraid of, because when you follow the energy, all the tools required will show up as well. It's not just about you follow the energy and you know the problem, but you have no idea what to do with that situation. But when you are present, then the tools show up as well. Thank you.
And Andrea, you had a question. Yeah.
There's also a question on the French chat.
All right. Sorry.
Andrea.
Let's have Andrea first, and then we come to Dane as the last question. for today. Yes? Andrea?
Shall we? Yeah, unmute. Yeah. Okay.
Managed.
Now it's good.
Okay, thank you. We have two questions, actually.
Yes.
Also in relation to the house topic. What if the energy is tagged and they cannot step forward for many years in relation? Okay, in relation to the permission to live there, you know, and it's tagged.
That's when we have an expectation about. Yeah, again, bocs. When we have an expectation about what should show up, like what we expect as a result, then it's not really about following the energy or not about being present with that topic. But really, when you are stuck with something, all you can do is giving up your points of view. And it's not just all you can do, but it's an amazing tool to ask the question, what else is possible here? Like if you have no points of view, no expectations, no judgments, no conclusions, and what else is possible here? With the willingness of receiving whatever information comes up or whatever change shows up for you. Yes. And what was the other question? Should we unmute you? Just a moment.
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
So I would like to change my workplace. I'm using access tools, but I become aware that the poverty, in my mind, it's really intense. But I was poor. I also was rich, but I'm afraid that if I don't find a new workplace where I feel myself well, I will get more money, I will get a higher salary, and the intensity of the fear was really surprising for me. How can I step forward, go forward, or come out of this state?
Thank you. You know, there is this thing about fear, and there is this question like if you are an infinite being, would you choose this? Like, because the thing with fear, it's like it's a distractor implant. It's not real, but it is holding you back. And we go into this state of fear when we are not willing to function from question, but we function from everyone else's reality.
And actually, sometimes we mix the fear and excitement. So you can ask the question, is it truly a fear or is it excitement?
Because the energy can be really
it
similar.
can be very similar.
And you know, you're not the only one who was facing this. Like I think 3 years ago, I was facing the same thing, or 2 years ago, 2, 3, whatever. And so what happened that there was a restructuring at the company, and I lost my job, and the comfortable choice would have been to look for another job at another company at the same type of position and keep doing the same thing.
To be in the safe position, in a surviving mode.
Yeah. But when we started to ask questions, it wasn't a contribution anymore. Actually, the contribution was doing something that we enjoy doing or that we desire to do, but we
don't know how. We didn't know how, but that was the greatest contribution.
Because we had to start asking questions and using the tools, and the main tool is asking a question, like being in a question. So what do you choose? You can go back to the old way of life, or you can start to function from question and see what shows up. What is the life that you can create?
You can survive or you can create your life. What do you choose?
Yeah. Thank you.
And then
We've got a question also, one.
I'm sorry, we have now the last question in the French side.
Someone.
The last one for today. Yeah.
Someone is asking, what would it take for people to show up at my classes?
Yeah, that's a good question. What will it take?
Cool. So if you are in the question, what shows up that you are not willing to do? What do you judge as heavy for you that it's only heavy because you are not comfortable with that, or like you're not willing to do it?
Or you have points of view about that.
Like, maybe you just need to call people, but you hate making phone calls. But actually a phone call makes an amazing personal contact that you are not willing to do. So, that's like the icing on the cake, like just an example. So what are the things in your life, like when you keep choosing this, what are the ideas that are coming to the surface or showing up for you that you are not willing to do, or you always looking for an excuse why you do this, why you don't do that? And as long as you are doing the excuses, nothing shows up for you. And then you can judge yourself as a failure, or people are not showing up for your classes. So what is it that you judge or you are not willing to do that if you were willing to do, that would change the whole situation with total ease? And everything that brings up with this turn on create.
Right and wrong, good and bad, put and poke, nice shorts, boys and beyonds.
Cool. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you for all the amazing translators. Thank you. We are so grateful.
Thank you. By the way, if you would like to know more about creation and creating your life and functioning
and being present in your life, how to be present, how to do it in the daily life,
and how to be the infinite being that you truly be, we can recommend you a class that you can tap into the energy and sense whether it creates more for you. That's your acoustical body class.
And actually, we are here in Ljubljana now. Ooh, exciting! And we will start the acoustical body class on Friday with Aya.
So really,
and Margareta, where is Margareta? Somewhere.
Yeah. Somewhere on the picture. So really, if these are really, really amazing tools about what is being an infinite being and how you create your life, and how you use the acoustical vibration, which is the space of infinite possibilities. Because when you have no access to possibilities, when you have no access to information, your life is like, it really depends on your fortune. And we don't like it, right? Not many people wins the lottery, right? So if you really would like to change your life and you are looking for the tools for that, just check your calendar or check your newsletters or check the people, the hosts that are hosting your acoustical body class.
There will be a couple of in Europe in this couple of weeks. And in Reunion as well, if you would like to do your holiday in a beautiful place.
So imagine that you can choose something that would be a huge contribution, a huge orgasmic energy for your body, like having a class and also having that class in an amazing, beautiful place on Reunion Island. So is that amazing or very unique and magical matching energy for this? The two things at the same place, the same time.
And also don't forget the other beautiful places like Ljubljana.
And Baden,
oh my gosh, and Moscow,
yes.
And the beautiful Budapest.
Yeah.
Don't forget Budapest. Yeah.
And where else and what
else is possible? Yes. Yeah, we are very excited.
Oh, we just forgot to mention that we have the Joyful Relationship class,
in
which
Bordeaux in November. Yes.
Which is really about creating
3 days. Oh my gosh.
the relationship with you, your body, your business, your partner, creating something totally different.
Something magical. And in Prague, 2 weeks' time,
the abuse class.
Yes.
Breaking out of the prison of abuse. Because, not to mention that, but the purpose of abuse is to cut your wings, is to contract you, is to push you down. And that makes you someone that everyone can control. And, you know, as we mentioned, the nature of the infinite being is the continuous expansion. But abuse puts into, instead of expansion, it puts into contraction. And from contraction, you can't really create, you can't really choose, you can't really be present. It's not what's your nature. So what if you tried everything, you tried everything and all the tools, and you really desire to be the infinite being and function from the energy space and consciousness of the infinite being that you truly be, but simply because you live in a very abusive environment and there are so many abuse around you, it just pulls you down all the time. It puts you into a space. This is not really creative, not really generative for you and your body and for your future. So that's in Prague and in Moscow in August 2, 3, 4, something like that. So we're really looking forward to see you, some of these classes.
And someone is asking, the joyful relationship is for couples. Yes, it's for couples, it's for singles, and if you are in a relationship and if you are not.
Or if you are looking to create a relationship that you don't have yet and you want to find out how to find it.
This is not just for about the relationship,
about
partners, but
it's about your business as well,
your body, and of course joyful relationship with yourself, because it's really
the infinite
important
being you are.
Yeah, and it will be a worldwide creation. It's so exciting, actually.
International, with many languages.
In Bordeaux.
So really, we are looking forward to meeting you, seeing you, and really giving you the tools to create a totally different reality, totally different life, to have all the tools. So, because we are so excited, we have the tools. We can create our life and we are happy about it, and we use it day after day, and we see it now for the last 2-3 years, it's working and creates more for us. And what if you would have these tools? What if you start to use these tools? What if you could have that fun, that joy, and create the life you desire, not someone else tells you that you have to have or you have to maintain? Yeah, what will it take for you to have these tools? What will it take for you to choose these classes?
And what else is possible? Cool.
Thank
you so much. Thank you again. Have a wonderful night and see you soon somewhere in the world.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes.